Hello everyone, this is Sweet Lou Jeff Luzader with Inside Southport Athletics, and we're with the girls track coach Nathan Fishel. And Nathan, I really appreciate your time. I understand you had a meet last night.
Yep.
You're coaching the girls. How's things going?
It's good. We had some real good successes last night at Southwestern High School. We were able to defeat Southwestern and Trinity Lutheran. We took some young girls and some girls needing some more experience and some more races. We've had some inclement weather this spring that's impacted not having certain meets, so we really want to get some girls some experience and some live action in meets that you don't really get in practice, and so it was a good experience.
Now everybody talks team-wise, a track team and everything. With other sports, you got offense and defense. Obviously you don't have that in track and field, but can you talk a little bit about this year's team and what your strengths and weaknesses are? What I mean,
Yeah.
are you more strong at the field events rather than the running?
We're typically our strongest area right now is our middle distance from 400, 800 mile, and the relays that accompany that, the 4x8, the 4x4. That's the most experienced area. That's the area that's shown the most success so far. We're younger in throwing for sure, jumping for sure. Those are areas that we're continuing to develop, and meets, really help that. Our short sprints, again, as well, it's an evolution. We took a lot of young sprinter girls last night that just need meet practice, meet reps, listening to calls, following direction, meet preparation, sequencing from when you get off the bus to when it's time to compete, to then once you're done competing, what's the process of wrapping up, cooling down, and getting back on the bus. And those are things that they help facilitate stability and confidence in an athlete throughout the season. And if you don't have those meets, you're just not as good. So we're trying to help them be as good as they can be and provide opportunities to compete. And that was the case last night. It was a good opportunity.
Now, talking about the facility over here, you got to be the luckiest guy on the face of the earth to have the facility.
Yep.
You've got. I'm from Lafayette, so I'm not really familiar with the opponents that you go to, but all-weather tracks, still a lot of those around?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say the rubber track is pretty much a stable aspect of all track and field in 2016. The difference becomes the turf field, what you can train on, how you can use the turf to help facilitate it. It used to be in the days of grass where they'd be still trying to grow grass in the spring. You'd have to stay off of the grass. And so your opportunities outside are kind of limited. So there was a discrepancy between teams that had the turf versus not. Whereas now, since we have the turf, we use it every day. It's an integral part of what we do, from warming up, cooling down, even parts of workouts in between. So you use the track to do some things, but you actually use the turf as well. And we will really make a big difference over the next 3 to 5 to 10 years.
Now let's talk a little bit about building a track team. Obviously, with basketball having AAU programs in the off season and stuff like that.
Yep.
Do you guys have things in place here at Southport where people can come in and work on their pole vault jump or their long jump, etc.? Do you have stuff during the off season?
We have off season conditioning that begins in the wintertime. But the biggest thing as far as track is doing, we're trying to bring kids out, any kids out, to develop athletes and athletic ability. And so you want kids that participate in all sports to see the benefits of coming out and developing a capacity to sprint, to jump, to throw, develop explosive capabilities that track offers. And so we start that, obviously it starts in the middle school for competition in Perry Township at the 6th grade level. Before that, and the way it works is we have kids that actually will work at the middle school as well, if their parents will take them, in the 4th and 5th grade levels as well. And we have coaches that go over to the middle school at least once a week to work with kids on specialty areas. And we kind of take a turn as far as, like, if I go, or Coach Starks, who's one of my assistants, goes, or Coach Evans, we kind of take turns depending upon that. So for example, at our meet last night, I was the only girls coach that went, but we had coaches at the middle school because the girls' middle school have meets tonight and Thursday. So we want to get them practicing and work with them in practice so they can apply what they did at practice in the meets. So I kind of made the decision, I'm going to take our high school girls, but I want you going to work with our middle school girls before their meets this week. And so it's every week we look at the schedules and see what works. Because Wednesday we have a high school meet, so all the coaches will be there for that. But we wanted to try to get, again, when are the middle school meets, when can we get some middle school, work with them, and that's what we did. That was just an example of last night.
Now, as far as like a mentoring, do you have some of those junior high athletes having a mentor at the high school level? Now, do you have some of the junior high coming to the high school
We
meets?
actually do in the summer, and actually we try to, we invite them to come. This Saturday is our Southport relays, and so it's supposed to be good weather. And so I'll go to the meets the next 2 nights as well. We have practice here, then I'll go to the meets after our practices are done. And it's a big week as far as weather. Looks nice. Meet this Saturday, Southport Relays, looks nice. Working on kind of a plan to have some sort of middle school events in the next coming years at the Southport Relays between the trials and finals, just to give those kids a chance to compete in a different format.
One last question for you. There's a lot of one-on-one stuff going on anymore. Obviously, I don't know how many athletes you have on your varsity track team, but do you have time to go around to each one of the field events and then even some of the sprints in practice to see kids to say, hey, Tommy, you're not doing this right? Or do you have a coaching staff that kind of steps in to help on that?
There's about 40 or so girls, and each of the coaches are assigned an area to work with. And my job is to work with certain kids every day, but it's in a manner where I have an assistant that also works with them so that I can float around and go see what the distance girls are doing. I don't write the workouts anyway, but my girls distance coach is Christina Colbert. Okay, so she'll be working with them. I'll have written the workouts. Here's what you do, and she's working with them. So then while she's working with them, Coach Starks is working with high jumps. Coach Evans is working with our jumps and our sprints. I'll work with jumps and sprints as well, and I'll kind of work and then bump around and see and work with and talk with and keep them going in their workouts, monitor them, watch what they do so we can adjust workouts for the kind of coming days, talk with the kids before, during, and after the practice as well. So I have a great staff, good assistants. I usually end each practice over at the pole vault because that's usually the area that through warm-ups and drills, they're out there the longest, typically. And so it's either the pole vault or distance, but I'll usually end at pole vault every day and watch there, talk with those kids, help out. But I have a pole vault coach that works specifically with the vault. And so good staff, assistants to work with certain areas, and it helps facilitate kid betterment. You could see it last night where different programs that don't have as many coaches, the kids aren't as developed because they haven't had somebody interacting with them and working with them. Whereas our township affords that. It affords more coaches, more kid contact, and more athletic development, which will lead for better performances when it comes time to competing. You could really see that last night.
Sounds good. Sounds like a great team. Best of luck to you, Nathan.
Thanks. All right.
Really appreciate your time. Good luck the rest of the year. This is Sweet Lou Jeff Luzader with the girls track coach here, Nathan Fishel. So long, everyone.